Hi, my name is Dr. Rissacher, and I'm the owner, the doctor, and the client at my Slim Body Laser Spa. Now this is a quick lesson on carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and blood sugar. Now your body uses three main nutrients to function. That would be carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Now these nutrients are digested into simpler compounds. First off, carbohydrates. These are used for energy or glucose. They raise your blood sugar. Fats are used for energy after they are broken down into fatty acids. Proteins can also be used for energy, but protein's first job is to help with making hormones, rebuilding muscle, and creating other proteins. So these nutrients that are needed by the body are carbohydrate, protein, and fat. So let's go over that in a little more detail. The first type of nutrient is your carbohydrate, and these are considered starches and sugars. Now carbohydrates are found in breads, grains, fruits, vegetables, milk, yogurt, foods with sugar. The way carbohydrates are used by the body is carbohydrates are broken down into glucose, which is what you commonly call blood sugar. And the glucose is used to supply energy to the cells. Extra glucose is then stored within the liver in the form of glycogen. Now protein is the second nutrient. And protein can be found in meat, seafood, legumes, beans, nuts, seeds, eggs, some milk products, and many vegetables actually contain protein. Now proteins are the building blocks of life. They are broken down into amino acids. Amino acids are used to build muscle and to make other proteins that are essential for the body to function. Now fat is the third nutrient. Fat is found in oils, butter, egg yolks, and animal products for the most part. Now fats are broken down into something called fatty acids or triglycerides. These fatty acids help make up your cell walls of all of your cells, the membranes, and also these fatty acids help to make hormones in the form of cholesterol. The extra fat is stored in the cells. After a meal, your blood sugar glucose level rises as carbohydrate is digested. This signals the beta cells of the pancreas to release insulin. Now, insulin is the gatekeeper that releases that helps to bring the food into the cell. Insulin helps glucose enter the body and the cells to be used for energy. If all the glucose is not needed for energy, the rest of it is stored in as fat. And this is how we make fat. By eating more than we can burn for the time period that we eat, the excess is stored in fat, and that would be glucose. Now, as sugar moves from the blood cells to the cells, the blood glucose level returns to the normal between meal ranges. So there is a normal range for blood glucose. Now there's several hormones and processes that help regulate your blood sugar level, and they keep it very specifically within a certain normal range. So normal blood sugar range is between 70 milligrams per deciliter to 120 milligrams per deciliter. And that would be commonly by using the blood sugar glucose meters. So if your blood sugar is at 100, you're good. If it's up around 130, 140, you're considered hyperglycemic, and that could be too high. And anything under 70 is critically important because it means you have low glucose, low blood sugar, and that could be life-threatening very quickly. So what happens is between meals, the body has a way of regulating blood sugar even though you're not eating. Okay? So here's the three ways that the body regulates blood sugar when you haven't eaten. So the first thing the body does is it goes to the cells in the pancreas. Now there's certain cells in the pancreas that release glucagon. Remember, that's stored glucose. Glucagon is a hormone that signals the body to produce glucose from the glycogen in the muscles and liver and release it into the blood. I was reading that 20% of the weight of your liver is considered glycogen, and it's stored energy ready to be utilized if you need energy very quickly. Now, when the glycogen is used up, and it uses up pretty fast, your body then goes to muscle. And muscle protein is then broken down into amino acids. The liver uses amino acids to create glucose through a reaction called gluconeogenesis. So that would be your second phase of giving yourself energy. Now, the last phase of where it gets its energy from is from your fat cells, the fat stores. And these can be used, and they really, once you use the fat, you start to form ketones. Now, you've heard a lot about the keto diet. That's trying to stimulate fat burning, and they do that by stimulating the ketones. They look for ketones in the urine, and that means that you're actually burning fat. So the first 3 steps is stored energy in the form of glycogen, and when that runs out, you burn muscle to get the proteins, to get the amino acids, and when that runs out, then you go to fat. Now, your body can also raise the blood sugar in response to stress, respond to having to move, having to fight, and that would be, it releases epinephrine. Now, epinephrine is also called adrenaline, and cortisol. I'm sure you've heard about cortisol. That's the stress hormone, which people have high levels of cortisol. This also causes a release of blood sugar by the adrenal glands, and the growth hormone released by the pituitary gland all can raise your blood sugar level. That's why stress and having high levels of cortisol can lead to weight gain. Now, I hope this makes things a little clearer for you. I think the most important that I have gotten from understanding this process of where you get your energy from. So when you eat food, it only lasts in your digestive system available for about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. Once you get past that 3rd or 4th hour, your blood sugar starts to drop. And the first thing the body does to bring that blood sugar back up, because it needs the energy, is it's going to go to the stored energy in your liver and in your muscles in the form of glycogen. And that's a very limited source of energy. It's not going to last for that long. Once that starts to decrease, then your body goes in and starts to break down muscle tissue. And that muscle that's being broken down is then what raises, it gives you the amino acids, and those amino acids are used for energy, but also to rebuild muscle. Once your muscle starts to degrade and you start to lose that energy, the next step, the final step, is to go after body fat, not the first. Okay? So weight loss, if your goal is to change body fat percentages, which is what it should be, you've got to go beyond a day or 2 or 3 or 4 of eating less. You got to go into the week, the 2nd week, the 3rd week, and the 4th week, and managing your calories very carefully. Because if all you're doing is skipping meals and not really counting your calories, you're really simply burning stored energy that the body then replaces and then uses that energy again and then replaces it again. That's why people say, I'm having such a difficult time losing weight. Well, you haven't done it long enough to get to the point where you're burning fat. Okay? And what's even worse, and I use this example with my clients, I said, if you're hungry, if you're walking around hungry, you're not burning fat, you're burning muscle. So think about that. In order to burn fat, you've got to go through the glycogen, through the muscle, and then you get to the fat stores. And again, depending on a person's habits and how much fat they have, that could be a couple days to several weeks. So I hope this makes some sense to you, and remember, it's not good to skip meals. In any weight loss program, you need to know the number of calories that you burn per day, called your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. It's different than your BMI. That's how much fat you have in percentages. So 25%, 30%, that would be a BMI. But your BMR is how many calories you burn at rest. And when you figure out your BMR, you want to eat a few hundred calories less than your BMR. And you want to do it consistently every single day until you get the result that you wish to have. You can't have 4 or 5 days where you do it and then you go back to eating normal, because all you're going to replenish is the glycogen stores will come back again. And the other thing that's difficult is if you're doing a lot of exercise and building muscle tone, remember that those muscles are burning energy also, So as you put on muscle tone, you're going to increase your weight. But it's still okay, because at the same time, you should be decreasing your body fat percentage as muscle tone increases. So to really know how successful you are, besides just looking down at the scale, you really need to have body impedance analysis testing as part of your weight loss, muscle, building regiment. If you know what your body fat percentage is in your BMR, and after 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, you can redo those numbers, you can really see how much body fat you're really losing. All right? Again, this is Dr. Tread Rissacher from the Slim Body Laser Spa. You know where you can reach me, Dr. Tread, Slim Body Laser Spa. I have an email, slimbodylaserspa@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Have a great day, and remember to think and act and behave thin. Bye-bye.